welcome everyone, those of you who have survived, brave enough to face Mother Nature's fury for closing ceremonies. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to talk about a couple things today. The very first thing, and I actually have notes. I came prepared this time. Yay. There we go. Wait. So the first thing that we want to do is acknowledge the staff one more time. These are the people who have been working for months to make this happen. So let's go through the names and then we will applaud at the end. If you are around, please raise your hand and identify yourself, as I don't know where the hell anybody is at this point in time. First of all, Ion Otter is our assistant director. Where is he? All right. I thought we said we were holding until the end. Merc is our animal control head. Mikey is our mistress of all things, Michaela is our mistress of all things programming. But for some reason, Michaela and Mikey are never in the same place at the same time.
It's not a coincidence.
Our registration team, who unfortunately cannot raise their hands because they are also doing audio-visual at the moment, but that is Tim, that is Drew, and not with us, Jeff, handling our registration. Gail is our videographer. Cosmo, who is now back home, is our photographer. Lupus is our AV and IT person. Sarah is transitioning from volunteers to our EMT person very soon. Sarah, who destroyed one of her tests yesterday.
Hey, Sarah, save me.
Chesney is our new full-time volunteer person. Honey is our hospitality lead, who will be taking care of all of you in January at our hospitality suite. And Ruko is our gaming person who had all the toys you were playing with in the underground yesterday. Cedar Paw is our second of security. Diane is our dealer's lead. Noel Strut is our DJ. Joining us in a field promotion yesterday is Jeff, who will be stepping into our ops position. It's very humble Jeff. There we go. And then finally, our three at-large members on staff, Cybeck, Redneck, and Stickoa. So now, applaud. All right, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to do a little bit of a wrap-up of Howler's Eve. If anybody wants to give feedback or would like to say something, I'll give you an opportunity, and then we'll have a conversation about the future of the event. So the numbers that everyone has been looking for, and I've seen several people ask about in Telegram already, our registration for the weekend came out to 124. I know some people watch numbers on counts and like, oh my God, but you're down. You were 141 in May. Yes, we are down. But most of you know we have a January event coming up. And that put people in the position where they had to make a choice. Do I come up for Howlers or do I wait for the full con? So what I heard was a lot of people are said, I'm going to skip Howlers. I'm going to save my money for January. So that's kind of an expected dip. I was prepared for and braced for a slightly lower number, but still, 124 is exceptionally good, considering that this is only our second Halloween-themed event. Last year at the Elks Lodge, we had 110. So if you go October to October, we're up. If you go from May to October, we're down. But again, we've got people who are waiting for the con in January. Our sponsors, we had 11 sponsors. We had 19 super sponsors, and these are the people I want you to applaud for because they made this con happen. So that is kind of our wrap up for Howler's Eve. Does anybody have any comments they would like to make about this weekend?
It was awesome.
Awesome, was good?
Too warm.
What?
It's too warm.
Funny you should mention that. We have an event coming up that will suit you just fine. Give me 5 minutes.
Good job.
If you spend it, they will bring it. That's what I can tell you about alcohol. I will tell you that the Hampton Inn was very pleased with our performance at the bar. The Elks Lodge was ecstatic at our performance at the bar. Sarah, they wanted to thank you specifically for moving Furioki there. The bartender was very happy with the number of livers that we ruined last night. All right, do we have any other comments on Howler's Eve this past weekend? Yes. I saw a hand. High-fiving. Yes.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that me and my friend here are like the only people in our age group here.
Okay.
You're still very welcome here.
What is your age group?
We're literally both 14.
Okay, literally both 14. Well, you can join us next time. As long as we have a signed slip from an adult, you can come out and party with us. So, all right. So, that's a good question. At the photo last night, we had 45 fursuiters in the photo. All right, so let's move on and have a conversation about the future, because I've kind of been teasing for the last couple weeks. Some of you who are on staff know. Some of you who are on staff don't even know some of the things that I'm about to say. So let's start. I'm going to start with the big thing. We are just coming up on our first year anniversary. Tarpaw Furmeet's first ever event was November 5th, 2016. So at 51 weeks old, we have already done 3 very successful events, all of which have broken even. But I've had some people raise issue with the name. Some people have said, well, you know, Tarpaw Furmeet, it's a little hokey sounding, it's a little silly sounding. If you're not a North Carolinian and you're not into college sports, you may or may not get it. But, you know, here's the problem. Some of you who have worked with me know I am a tightwad. If I spend money on something, I have spent money on something and I am going to get my money out of it, gosh darn it. We have already put money into stuff that is identified as Tarpaw Furmeet. However, we also are at a point in our existence where we have to become a corporation. We are going to have to actually create a legal entity, so that way if something happens, none of us lose our shirt. So here's what's going to happen first of all. Tarpaw Furmeet will still exist, but Tarpaw Furmeet will be the name of the corporation under which we run events. So you may see us talking about Tarpaw Furmeet. That's no different than like Anthropomorphic Arts and Entertainment, the group that sponsors Further Confusion. Anthrocon Incorporated is the group that sponsors Anthrocon. I think Midwest Furry Fandom is the Midwest Fur Fest parent group. So over the course of like the next 7 months, we will formally incorporate under the name Tarpaw Furmeet. So you will still see Tarpaw Furmeet, but it will kind of be pushed off to the back because we have 2 other events that we are focusing on. The first of which is Howler's Eve, which you're enjoying right now. Howler's Eve is going to be an annual event. However, here's the problem. We are in a very unenviable position. Well, I guess it's an enviable position. We are too big for the Elks Lodge. No, what? We are too big for the Elks Lodge. We have outgrown the Elks Lodge.
Already?
And let me be honest. How many of you in this weather today would have liked to have gone from the underground to the annex in the rain, in the cold? Anyone?
No.
I'm hearing it. That is our other problem. I like the Elks Lodge. I like Ben. Ben is a great guy. Those of you who were really late last night, Ben was kind of the big guy with the gray shirts. Ben is our manager at the Elks Lodge. And Ben was running around in a werewolf mask last night. We assimilate them, we convert them. I have said that for years. Once they get to know us as a group, they want to join us. And Ben walks up to me, he's like, hey Matt, hey Matt, hey Matt. And he's got this werewolf mask on. I'm like, oh dude, you don't know what you've just gotten into. So I say this, that there is no malice between Howler's Eve and the Elks Lodge. We have simply outgrown them. The other problem is, let me ask you, How many of you like stopping the party at 11:30? Who would like to go on until 1 or 2 a.m.? We can't do that at the Elks Lodge because the Elks Lodge is in a residential neighborhood. Their policy is lights out, doors locked by midnight. So we got to cut the party off early. So here's what this means. We need a new home. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when you go looking for something, it's right in front of you. So our home for Howler's Eve will be the Hampton Inn. And it is not only going to be just the Voyager Ballroom. On Friday night, we'll do the usual welcome dance. So we'll do registration, we'll do check-in. By the way, how many of you like the badges this year instead of the wristbands? All right, so we will do registration at the welcome dance as we always do, but on Saturday, we will own the entire Hampton Inn. The Voyager Ballroom, the Pioneer Ballroom, we will have the entire space, and we will do what we do for Howler's Eve in the Hampton Inn and Suite. So, gaming will have Pioneer 1, the dealer's room will have Pioneer 2, dances and main events will have the Voyager Ballroom where we always are. We can expand out into the lobby. Let me ask you this, how many of you stayed at the Hampton? Can we say that hot free breakfast is not awesome? So, Friday we will have the welcome dance. Saturday we will have the traditional Howler's Eve festivities at the Hampton Inn. Sunday is going to be a little different. Sunday we will still be out here in Pullen Park, but this is a private event that I am putting on for the community. This is my way of saying thanks to all of you, because it doesn't matter whether you're a sponsor, whether you're a super sponsor, whether you're a general attendee, these events happen because you all come out. You put money behind us as Howler's Eve staff. You put your confidence in us to give you an amazing weekend. And what I want to do is I want to put on a very simple event to thank all of you, because without people here, we would not be here right now. And that is part of our testament to our growth. So we will have the thank you picnic on Sunday out here at Pullen Park. And we'll just hope that the weather is a lot better next year. But so that is the new Howler's Eve, and that is probably how it's going to be for a very, very, very long time. I don't see us outgrowing the Hampton Inn anytime soon, and we will all be in one location. So there will be no longer mad treks up the stairs, navigating the rope lights, hoping that it's not going to rain. Now, some of you who have been here since the very beginning, and when I say the very beginning, I'm talking about like July. My God, are those children being beaten? Why did I not get an invitation for this? July 4th weekend, the Pullen Park meet that we had in July, I was right down there in the pit, and I made the announcement that I was starting this thing called Tarpaw Furmeet. And pretty much everybody looked at me like, what the hell is this crazy fat guy talking about? It was a hard sell, and some of you who were here, you know the very uphill climb that I had to take to get here. So in January, in August, trying to get people in, and I completely forgot middle age. I got on a tangent. I forgot why I was talking about that. But what was I talking about right before I said today? From the beginning. Oh, right. I said our end game was a convention. We were going to do a series of small parties, and the small parties would start to build up an attendance base. It would start to build up a name recognition within the community. It would start to build up a community within the community, and we are now to the point where we can talk about that convention. So, first things first. This was one of the reasons why we kind of started to talk about the idea of using Tarpaw Furmeet. Tarpaw Furmeet is small and localized. If you're not a North Carolinian, you probably don't get the joke. You don't get the reference. So that's why we're going to make that our parent organization. We needed something that sounded bigger. We needed something that sounded broader. I've had people say, well, what about Midwest Fur Fest? What about Furry Week in Atlanta? What about Texas Furry Fiesta? Those cons are all 15 years older or more. The fandom was different then. Cons were different then. I see a hug. Who just arrived? Heidi. Hey! So the convention scene was different. You could make smaller cons because there weren't as many cons. These days, you can't swing a dead fursuiter without finding a con somewhere. So we have to think big. We have to think about a name that isn't locally centralized. So this comes from Null Scrut. I always believe in giving credit where credit is due. On January 26th to 28th, Tarpaw Furmeet proudly announces Anthro Crossroads East. That is the name of our convention. A weekend-long convention. We are going to be, at least for this year, because I think we are going to outgrow in this case, we will be at the Hampton Inn and Suites this year for ACE 2018. We will have the entire space from Friday through Sunday night. What do you mean? I see that face. ACE. Anthro Crossroads East. ACE. Everything is also about the acronym in this fandom. You should have seen the discussion that we had in staff channel when we were spitballing names and trying to find acronyms that would fit and be family appropriate. It was a very interesting and complicated chat. For example, somebody wanted to con, I think the initials were FAP, like, nope, not doing that. Nope. So, here are some things that I can tell you about ACE 2018. Again, the actual name of the event is Anthro Crossroads East. It will be at the Hampton Inn, January 26th to the 28th. The site right now is live. So I'm going to be narcissistic if you could give me your attention for maybe 10 more minutes. However, once you're done, if you go and you pull out your mobile device and you go to Anthro Crossroads or Anthro Crossroads East, you will see a fully functioning, ready-to-go website. Tickets are live right now. The hotel registration is live right now. We are ready to go. It is now your job to start buying tickets, to start getting hotel rooms. One quick thing on hotel rooms. The more hotel rooms we generate, the more leverage we have with the hotel to get things like comped room nights. One of the things we're talking about with volunteers is maybe getting a hotel room where volunteers who do a certain number of hours a day can crash at night. But that can't happen. We can't put up a gopher hole. So here's my thing. I've been in fandom since 1994. My first convention, Google it, was called Furtasticon 1. It was November in Philadelphia. It ran right next door to PhilCon. So I have been at this for almost 25 years now. I am a big believer in the traditions of our fandom, some of which have kind of fallen off the wayside. For example, the badges that you all have right now, this was our test run for ACE. Once upon a time when you went to a con, you didn't get these like plastic badges with something screen printed on. You got a piece of paper, and what you usually did was you made a beeline to an artist, and an artist would do like a $5, $10 sketch, and you got a custom con badge for the weekend. I want to bring that tradition back. I want to try to bring a lot of the traditions that I think have gotten lost by the wayside back with ACE, so folks who weren't around in the 90s can understand what made this fandom what it is today. So, you're going to see a lot of things coming out over the next 3 months. And let me tell you, 3 months from today, ACE will be done. This is this January. This is 3 months from now. But kind of getting off tangent, Midwest Fur Fest, for many years, when they were still a very young con, they offered what they called the gopher hole. And volunteers who worked a certain number of hours per day over the con could basically get free crash space. I know for some people, crash space is a prohibitor for coming to the con. Now, I will tell you this. We are not to the point yet where we can comp people. All of my staff, everybody you see here with the staff badge, paid admission. I paid admission. And I love you all, but if anybody's going to get into the con free first, it'll be staff, and then we'll look at animal control, and then we'll look at volunteers, maybe a tiered volunteer system where people can get in. But at least for the first year, if we can get enough people getting hotel rooms, we can get the Hampton to give us a hotel room where the volunteers will have a place where they can leave their stuff, get some sleep, get a shower. But again, we'll get more details about that as we're coming along. A couple other things. So we got away from the wristbands this year at Howlers. That was the one big change that I wanted to get away from. I know people hated the wristbands, so we got away from the wristbands. The next thing that we are getting away from is Eventbrite. So when you go to sign up for ACE, I saw the clapping, and if I wasn't running long, I'd let you do it. We are moving over to a system called RegFox for ACE. One of the cool things that we can do with RegFox is we can let you customize your name. So in other words, you can put whatever name you want on your badge. So that way, when my Reg folks start to do pre-registrations, we can print out the badges, and when you walk up, the big issue that we had on Friday night, we had some technical issues, which Lupus saved our asses on multiple times. If you pre-register for the con, you should be able to walk up, present your RegFox ticket, present your ID, your badge will be printed. We should be able to have you in and out of the Reg line from walk up to walk away within 2 minutes. So we will have a new registration system in place for January as well. Now let me show you this. I have a little packet here, and Avis, you're close enough. What does this say?
Project ACE.
So we've been kind of busy on this behind the scenes, and I'm going to say, staff, I love you all for keeping the hell quiet on this. Seriously. Wow.
I am your child.
So first of all, Tarpaw Furmeet Incorporated takes no responsibility for any relationships that may have just disintegrated. However, we have flyers available with art by the amazing Gail. Where is she? She's right here. I want every person to leave with at least one of these flyers. Take more than one if you have a friend who will use them. After 2 years of building a regional presence, Tarpaw Furmeet is proud to present Anthro Crossroads East 2018. Join us as we celebrate North Carolina's legacy as the birthplace of flight, with aviation of all forms as our theme for North Carolina's first furry convention. It will be a weekend of fun and friends old and new, with dances, gaming, a dealer's room, dance battle, lip sync battle, something new Mikey is bringing, charity auction, and the debut of the Furry Arm Wrestling Foundation. So, Fursuiters, I can only tell you this, he is not here right now, but apparently Chairman Cutter is working on the first Furry Arm Wrestling Foundation. If you are a fursuiter, if you are not a fursuiter, you have been challenged to come present and put on your best skills to win the first Furry Arm Wrestling Invitational in January. More will be on social media about that as we come. So, book your tickets, make your reservations, and plan to spend a weekend with us at the inaugural Anthro Crossroads East. See you in January, Ace. Everything you need here. So, one more thing will be done. So, admissions. Here is the one thing. Because we are moving into the hotel for the weekend, our bill gets higher. That means that the ticket price gets higher. But, pre-registrations. I'm going to tell you all something, and this is where, you stuck out the rain and everything else. You get a special treat. As of November 1st, pre-registration will be $45. So again, price is going to go up a little bit. It's still comparable to what the other cons are giving you, but as your incentive to get you to pre-register, we are going to make a con t-shirt, and that will be the only place you can get the con t-shirt. Because as you can see, moving con t-shirts is kind of a pain in the ass. So, if you want a con t-shirt, pre-register and put your size down, and we will have them printed, and we will not print them for people who do not pre-register. So, that's your incentive. $45 gets you in the con, and it gets you a free t-shirt. The only other con that I know of that does anything remotely like that is MFM. Every other con, you pay $45. You want the t-shirt, that's an extra $20 to $25. However, from the staff, as our thank you gift to you for being here, for supporting us, and especially for enduring this god-awful rain, if you pre-register, by midnight on October 31st. This is a Howler's Eve special. This is a thank you for Howler's Eve attendees. You can pre-register for $40. So that is the full con, that is a t-shirt, that is everything. November 1st, it goes up to $40 and that cuts off, 45, sorry. That cuts off, I believe, 2 weeks before the con, and then 2 weeks before the con, you will be paying the walk-up price of $50. So you can register for the next 2 days for $40. You can save a lot of money, you can pre-register and save a little money, or you can walk up to the door and not only spend 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes at registration, but pay more for the privilege of doing so. So, general admission will be $45. The sponsor will get the sponsor gift, limited edition sponsor t-shirt. So sponsors, y'all are gonna get a totally different t-shirt. Regular folks, everybody's gonna get the standard t-shirt. Sponsors and super sponsors, you will get a special t-shirt printed only for you. Sponsor reception, just like we did. Oh, because we have a bigger hotel, we will also have a convention suite. So Miss Honey, if you are a sponsor or a super sponsor, we'll be taking care of you that weekend. Super sponsors will get the sponsor gift, limited edition super sponsor, sponsor t-shirt, sponsor reception, super sponsor gift, super sponsor dinner on Sunday. So those are your tiers, 45, 50 at the door, and then 100 and 150 for the sponsor levels. The Hampton King Suites are $119 a night. Some of you may have seen the King Suites, bigger room, more space. You got a couch, a little room to hang out in. Kings are $99 a night. 2 queens are $109 a night. This is the important deadline. You must get your hotel reservations made by January 12th, 2018 for the con rates. If you don't, they will go up. More importantly, we need to get as many people in under the con banner as we can so we can see how many rooms we can get comped. So that way, Chesney's got something that he can use as an incentive for his volunteers. So, before we open up, I know I've hit y'all with a lot of information. What questions do you have about Tarpaw as a corporation, the new Howler's Eve, or ACE? Yes,
Is there anywhere to apply for panels?
Mikey.
Hey! All right, let me see that right quick.
Take it. Okay. Where's my water?
All right.
Panels will be up. I'm actually going to have a Google form situated within the next couple of weeks where people can sign up for panels. Basically, it's going to have, the panel, what the panel is going to be, a description of it, and how long it's going to last. But I will have that up within the next couple of weeks. I will make an announcement. I promise. Is there anything else you want to ask me? This is my natural hair color. Just
Loosely related, the DJ application is already open.
Yes. If you would like to be one of our DJs, please send the application in, and I see 2 hands in the back. Yes, sir.
So, you say that it's becoming a corporation, is anybody else getting involved who make changes that maybe we don't want to see? I like it to be this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not involving other people outside.
Oh, no. Okay, so let me explain to everybody. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to, if you know me, a few of you have actually kind of reached out. Here's the thing, I've learned this. The higher my profile gets, the more fantastic stories I hear about myself. By the way, do you have a bottle of water over at the table over there? I might get super parched. For example, I heard a story circulating in the area that I made inappropriate overtures to a member of our community in the gym. That did not happen on Friday, just to make sure that everything was in place and everything was set. And Ben says, hang on a second, I don't want to get myself wet. That'll do. All right. So Ben tells me, he says, listen, I got to talk to you about something at some point in time. It's nothing important, but we need to talk. Now, never has a good phrase opened with the, never has a good conversation opened with the phrase, we need to talk. Ever.
Yeah.
So I'm like getting defensive. I'm like, what do you mean we need to talk? What's going on? Well, we don't think it's anything important, but someone sent us an email that we need to think you should see. I'm like, I'm waiting for concrete details here. Come on, Ben. If you've ever worked with me, I am very direct, I am very blunt, I am very quick. Cut to the chase, get things done, I have things to do. Give me details, Ben. Well, it's just that someone sent us an email and said that you were a terrorist and working with a terrorist organization. I'm like, are you insinuating that somehow I am Obadger bin Laden? No. Someone just sent us an email and you can take a look at it and so I'm like, okay, fine. So it's like, we're fine, right? Yeah, we're fine. So we went in for the walkthrough on Friday and he shows me the email and someone used, what's the name of that anonymous service, Otter? Proton Mail. To send in that, so this guy named Matt Snoots is involved with Antifa and because that he's a terrorist and look at this from his Twitter and this from his Twitter. And I'm like, so in other words, I'm calling out the furry raiders Nazi shitbags and somehow I'm now a terrorist. I'm okay with that, by the way. Just for the record. I think I can also say at this point in time, because I do have, and this is my recording, because I do want to say this, we had another Nazi-free weekend, Raiders. Please try again. No, please let them continue. I would rather get their money in a check then. Anyway, you hear all these fantastic stories. I always am very transparent. If you ever come to me like, listen, Matt, I've heard about something, I've heard something has happened. There is nobody who will ever tell you who has worked with me that I've ever tried to hide anything, obfuscate anything, or otherwise muddy the waters. So I kind of want you to kind of get a look behind the curtain. Because I've had people say, I want to be on staff. Well, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You don't get to walk up to me and say, I want to be on staff. And then suddenly, I'm like the genie from Aladdin, poof, your staff. I don't do dad jokes. People have to work their way up. So in other words, all of our staff members in one form or another began as volunteers. Even Mikey, so Mikey and Merck are always my go-to to pick on. They bought sponsorships for the Tarpaw dance last November. And within an hour, they spent money on sponsorships. Within an hour, both of them are in orange vests in the parking lot at the Elks Lodge directing. Did as a volunteer, got someone's attention. So then, when I said, we got a position on staff that's coming up, it needs to be filled, people have said, well, how about this person? How about this person? How about this person? And then they got the nod on staff. Now, some people are just kind of general staff. For example, Red, unfortunately, because of his job, he is there in kind of a member at-large position. So we have the position that I call staff co-board. These are people, they're just kind of hanging out, they're waiting for a position. When a position opens up, I look at the position, I look at the person, is it a match? Usually I'll talk to Otter, I'm thinking about bringing this person in this position. What I will tell you is board nominations will work the exact same way. We will have a discussion, kind of the small founders group at Tarpaw, about who's going to do what within the board position. So nobody from the outside will ever be involved in this organization. This is always inward, we always promote up. So I've gone on way too long for that question, but hopefully that answers it. And my voice is already going bad. It's like puberty all over again. Your question. Yeah, you're going to have to speak up. I'm very hard of hearing.
And the question that I have is, they used to give out flyers in terms of like different panels, dance cups, different times, and then they came over an app.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys are going to be looking into maybe, or?
So here's what, so I can give you the short version and then I can hand off to Lucas. Several years from now, when I'm not desperately trying to sell t-shirts just to break us even, and we have lots of liquid cash. How many of you, for example, Midwest Fur Fest, you've experienced Sketch? Yeah. Okay, a one weekend license for Sketch is about $1,500. We do not have Sketch money yet. We don't even have money yet. I can't afford like the first two letters, much less Sketch, but Lupus is heading up a team and we are looking at possibly making our own homegrown app. I will tell you, this is just me as the old hippie. I'm not a fan of printing things out unless I have to. So like putting together a con book, I don't think we will ever do a traditional con book. If we do, it'll be a PDF that you can download and read on a mobile device. Hold that thought. But for like scheduling and stuff, Lucas is working on an app and he will tell you about it while I drink water.
All right, so long story short, we do have a team of volunteers that will be working on not just the app, but it will have a website presence, and there will be like multiple versions of this app that we can all work on. One of the things that it will do is get your badge, it will get your information, and we will be able to help you coordinate your time at any of the cons. So one of the things we want to do, and this is kind of a stretch goal sort of thing, is make it so you can have friends in the app. So say, hey, guess what? I like D&D. I'm going to the D&D panel. Who wants to come with me? Well, what time is it? You don't have to do that anymore. If you put, hey, yes, I'm on the D&D, or I'm going to the D&D panel in your schedule, and you have a friend, that same schedule will be viewable by the friends, so they will be able to come with you to whatever event it will be. So this app will be fully featured. It will actually go a little bit above and beyond what some of the stuff we can buy. It's just, it's not going to be ready for January. It might not even be ready for another couple of times. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a beta process, but we will have it.
And another question that I also have, now will it be free or like 99 cents?
It will be free.
License that app. Could Tarpaw Furmeet Incorporated license that app out to other cons and thus have money for cool things?
I like it. Make it brave.
Okay, so I've been telling the staff all weekend that there is a reason why we are financially successful. I am always cheap and I am always looking for the angle, and you are all now witness to this. So, next question. I'm just kind of looking around. Yes?
I actually have two questions. One related to console. My phone's not having memory to install another app.
Okay.
Will the console be available in PDF form that I can print off before the event?
That's exactly how I put them up. I put them up as a PDF. If you want to download them, if you want to print them out. Yep.
Pre-registration, side registration, can those be cannot or do not want to use a card online?
If you want to pay cash, you can pay cash at the door. Otherwise, if you want to pre-register would be credit card only.
Will registration be still online as main control, yes?
You will still have to go through RegFox for that, yes. Because we need to have records of who's here and how to contact them in case, well, we don't need them coming back.
Okay, Reg Bear here.
Oh,
Now, Eventbrite, I don't know about RegFox because I haven't had a chance to fully explore it yet, but in Eventbrite, you could register for the free pay-at-the-door ticket without a card. So it was possible to register for a pay-at-the-door ticket without a card. I haven't played around in RegFox yet, so I'm not sure if they can do that. But if you want to do a pay-at-the-door with cash, check that out. It should be possible to not have to have a card.
all right. Yes, another question.
For registration, is dealer registration information on the website?
It is not yet. I want to sit down with Diane. Just, again, for full transparency, I kind of handed her the dealer's room this year and kind of built everything for her. And, what I told her is for January, I'm going to give her a lot more autonomy. She and I kind of need to sit down and hash some stuff out. So dealers are not yet ready. But if you watch our Twitter handle, Tarpaw, at Tarpaw Furmeet, we make all of our announcements there. So just keep an eye on that. And as soon as dealers registration is open, we will go ahead and make news of that. So,
Thank you.
Yep. Yes?
Is there any information on the charity?
So, yes. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So for our first year, we are going to take one charity. So my goal is I want one home charity that we have a long-standing relationship with. For example, Method Furmeet has a very long relationship with the Tiger Haven charity. I want us to have a charity that we have a very similar relationship with, but I also don't want to box other charities out. So what we'll do is we will have our home charity who always comes in every year, and we will choose a guest charity on the staff to maybe give them 25% or 50% of the take. So our home charity, Ruko, you know their name, I don't. CCI, all right. Conservator Center, there we go. So the Conservator Center will be our home charity if, I will say this, if they ever respond to my voicemail. If you know anybody at CCI, please tell them to respond to the voicemails that I've been leaving for them. I don't, do we have Soul in the house? Okay. Yes, I left a voicemail. Nobody's responded. It's the first time I've ever said I have free money that nobody's ever said, hey, wait. So yes, this year in January we will have one charity. From there on out, we will have two charities, a home and a guest. What else did I see? Yes. Were you at the, so I saw you walked in late. Did you hear the big announcement? All right, so ACE will be held at the Hampton Inn and Suites. So the dealer's room will be in the Pioneer Ballroom. Main events will be in the Voyager Ballroom. It is literally the walk across the hall. I have to talk with Diane about that. I want to give her autonomy to run her room, and we just haven't had time to sit down yet. So, other questions? All right, I've had the request for staff to make a few announcements, but I will take other questions as chair. Any other questions? Final opportunity. I know you're sick of hearing me talk. I'm sick of talking too. My throat feels like crap. Yes?
At each con, will there be a space where you can buy or re-reg for the next event?
So yeah, what we'll do is at the end of ACE January, we will start registration for 2019. Yep. All right, so someone behind me tapped me on the shoulder and wanted the megaphone. So if you are on staff and you have any announcements you would like to make, start thinking about them now.
All right, we do have one major announcement for January. In January, we will have a virtual reality showcase. We will have one HTC Vive, and we will have one Oculus Rift available. We'll have multiple games. Most of them are on Steam. They'll be available to play. Some will be horror themed, some will be, random first-person shooters, whatever. But it will be the full room scale VR experience as part of January.
All right, go ahead. Just talk. Don't have to push a button. Like that, but louder.
I've seen a few requests in the Tarpaw chat about the dance battle, and people come to me saying, hey, did you record it? I did, but the way the con videos I do is, adding music with different clips throughout the weekend. I did not record the full thing, but I did see multiple people with cameras around recording it. I just want to give that shout out because people have been messaging me saying, hey, when's the dance battle be up? When's it going to be up? When other people upload it, but by the way, this week, maybe next week, the Howler's Eve con video should be up.
All right. Any other staff members who would like to mention or talk about anything? All right, so one more thing before we go. The last thing that we have on our agenda tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. at Stromboli's Express on Spring Forest Road is going to be our super sponsor thank you dinner. If you are not a super sponsor, so here's the way it'll work. We as the con, we will feed our staff, we will feed animal control, we will feed volunteers, and we will feed the super sponsors. You can't have a super sponsor dinner, obviously, without feeding the super sponsors. So, if you are not one of those categories, you are welcome to join us, but you have two options. If you would like to buy a ticket, we still have some tickets for the dinner. They're $15. It is fully catered at an awesome Italian restaurant. This is where the staff has our meetings. We are family there. The management lets us, management bends over backwards to let us do whatever we want. So, you are welcome to come, but we will not feed you if you are not in the groups that I mentioned. So, you can either buy a ticket for the dinner. We have a few left over at the desk. They're $15 each. Or you can buy your own food and sit with us. Again, this is Stromboli's Express on Spring Forest Road. Dinner will start shortly after 6 o'clock. Coming out. We will see you all next year for Howler's Eve 2018. And I hope to see all of you and a hell of a lot more at ACE in January. And do not forget, take flyers. I want them all gone.